My friends and neighbors and family members and fellow Americans who have voted Democrat your entire life. I want to speak directly to you today, not with anger, not with disrespect, not with the assumption that you're foolish and uninformed. I know many of you vote the way you vote because it's what your family did, it's what your community did and does, and that's what you were told represented compassion, justice, fairness, opportunity. But with the midterms approaching, I believe this is a time to ask a serious question. Are you voting for what the Democrat Party used to claim it stood for? Or are you voting for what many of its candidates actually stand for today? Because those are not always the same thing. A lot of lifelong Democrats were raised to believe that party cared about working people and poor people, Black folks, teachers, families, neighborhoods, churches, unions, small communities, and regular folks who just wanted a fair shot. But voting isn't supposed to be a family tradition. Voting is supposed to be a civic judgment. It's supposed to be a review. It's supposed to be the moment where the citizen looks at the person asking for power and says, "What have you done with the power that you have already had?" That's the question. Not what not not what they promised, not what they said on the commercial, not what colors on the yard sign, not what six, not what letter sits next to their name on the ballot, but what have they actually achieved? If they have represented your city, your district, your county, your state, your community for years, then you have every right to ask. Are the schools better, streets safer, groceries more affordable? Are businesses that are small stronger? Are families more stable? Are young people better prepared? Is the neighborhood that you live in cleaner? Are public services more competent? Are your tax dollars being used wisely? Are your kids safer, smarter, and maybe more hopeful than they were before? And if the answer is no, then why should loyalty keep replacing accountability? That's not betrayal, that's citizenship. Too many voters have been trained to believe that asking hard questions of their side is some kind of disloyalty. That's backwards. Blind loyalty is what allows politicians to take people for granted. Blind loyalty is how communities become political property. Blind loyalty is how candidates show up every election season, say the familiar words, use the familiar slogans, take the familiar pictures, and then disappear until they need votes again. We've seen that. A serious voter does not ask, who did my parents vote for? Our serious voter asks, who is actually serving my family and values and community and future? So I want to be clear. This challenge is not about telling anybody to abandon their conscience. It's about asking people to use their conscience. Do not vote out of habit. Do not vote out of fear. Don't vote because somebody told you that one party owns your identity or your race or your neighborhood, your church, your labor, or your history. Nobody owns your vote. I'll say it again. Nobody owns your vote. Your vote is not an inheritance. It's not a reflex. It's not a membership card. It's a tool. And if the people you keep giving that tool to aren't building anything with it, then maybe it's time to stop handing it over without inspection. This election cycle, look past the campaign language. Look at the record. Look at the policies. Look at the results. Look at whether the candidate respects your values when the cameras are off. Look at whether they treat your community as a partner or like a political ATM. Look at whether they solve problems or simply explain why the other side is worse. Because at some point, the other side is worse is not a governing philosophy. It's just an excuse. Lifelong Democrats, especially those who truly care about family and faith and work and safety, education, opportunity, dignity, deserve better than being treated as automatic votes. You deserve candidates who have to earn your respect. You deserve representatives who fear disappointing you more than they fear upsetting party leadership. You deserve public servants who come back with results, not just rhetoric. So this midterm season, do something powerful. Ask the question they hope you won't ask. What have you actually done? And if they can't answer that clearly, specifically, and honestly, then maybe the problem is not your expectations. Maybe the problem is they got too comfortable believing they already had your vote.